Hey guys, so I wanted to do this topic today because I thought it was a really great question that was in the comments of one of the videos, and it was just something that I felt like I could really relate to and share from my own experience. So before I get started, I'm going to start by saying in every video that I'm sitting on this bed that this is not our bed, this is the... Thank you for those who have filled in the blank in the comments below. So today we're going to be talking about letting go of what other people think about you. And that's a really, really tough thing because we're in a society where we're taught to care about how we look and how we think and how we dress and how we act. And we're also taught how to care or judge what other people are doing. So in turn, we're self-conscious of that. For myself, this was an actual thing, which I think a lot of you guys can relate to, but for me, it was just like this massive amount of insecurity for myself because I kind of grew up unconsciously. I was taught to care about what other people think about me, but at the same time, there were a lot of confusing and conflicting things throughout my childhood that made me sort of unconscious of how I was truly behaving and how unappealing and negatively it impacted my relationships. So I found myself in this place where I became really insecure of what to do or what to say to anybody because I was upsetting people or offending people and not even knowing it. So it can be a really hard thing to step away from, especially when you get to that place where you feel like you're in the spotlight all the time, or you have to perform, or you're like on stage where everybody's staring at you, judging your every motion and action. The truth of the matter is, most people aren't. And you probably heard this 1,000 times before. If they really are, then they need to get a life because most people are like you and I, and they're only concerned about themselves. And if they are judging other people, then it's probably because they're concerned about themselves and they're worried about how they match up or level up or trying to make themselves feel better by judging other people. But beyond that, you know, the thing that we hear most often is just don't care, right? If you don't want to care what people think about you, then don't care. But it's not really that easy because at the end of the day, you can choose not to care, but you're going to care. We are created as compassionate beings. We are innately designed to be compassionate. So to some level, you are going to care because you care about the way that you behave and you want that to match up with your intentions. You care about the way you make other people feel or how they might be perceiving those intentions. But at the same time, I want to say that you can find a place where you can care, but you can not let negative things or misunderstandings affect you on a deeply negative emotional level. So for me, the first thing that I had to learn in freeing myself from what others think of me is, first and foremost, you have to love yourself. If you don't love yourself, or if you are unable to look at yourself within and say, oh, I like this and this aspect of me, or this is why I'm an awesome person, then it's going to be really easy for you to feel insecure about what others might think of you, and also looking towards others to fulfill that or give you that kind of positive feedback that you are acceptable just the way that you are. So it's easier said than done. Just love yourself for you. But the easiest way to do this, instead of trying to figure out who you are or trying to find yourself, is just live your life for you. You have to do things for you and not for them. If you're doing it for them, it's never going to fulfill you because their wants, their needs, their judgments, it's always going to change. So what do you like? If you have a hard time seeing this in yourself, look at others that you really like and appreciate and care about. Not because of their status, not because other people think they're cool, but people that genuinely make you feel good. People that you think are just the most awesome people in the world simply because of who they are. and ask yourself, what are those aspects that you like about them? Those are typically things you can find in yourself. Most of the time, if we find negative things or positive things in other people, they're just a direct reflection of what we see in ourselves that either needs improvement or that needs appreciation. So if you can find those things within yourself, that's a great starting point. But do take the time to create actions and to make choices for yourself, not because of what you think they will think. What, at the end of the day, will you think? Is it somebody that you want to be friends with and can say that you're proud of? The next thing really correlates with the video that had this comment in the first place, and that is to remove your own judgment of others. If you want to be free from feeling like you're being judged, don't judge others. And that's easier said than done as well. I mean, obviously we have to have some level of judgment. If you're walking in a public space where you feel uncomfortable, you will have to judge if this person that's coming towards you is a danger or, you know, intuitive things, those kind of notions. But when it comes to superficial, shallow-based judgments about whether or not somebody's good enough based on what they are saying, what they're wearing, etc., you have to let those things go, because if you're casting out those judgments everywhere you go, you will believe that every single person is doing the same thing to you. So if you can live in a place where you can start to appreciate and see the loving aspects of other people and including yourself, then you will be liberated from the notion that everybody is going around judging every little thing and thought and action and word that you're saying. If you are not judging every little thing and thought and action and word that other people are saying, stop judging yourself, because that is also a judgment that you're casting. And when you're putting yourself under the microscope like that and only seeing the finer details of the things that could possibly be negative, you are magnifying and dramatizing something that may or may not really exist to that magnitude. Number 3, I have refine your friends. And the reason is because the next 3 steps that I'm going to give you after this, you can't do with people who are not going to be a positive and honest reflection of who you are and what your intentions are. So if your friends are not adding value to your life, they are not, and you don't feel like you can add value to theirs, they're probably not the right friends for you to be hanging around with at the moment. You want to be able to feel like you can be yourself and be open and be honest. And if it is not a safe place around your friends to be that, then it's not a nurturing or a positively contributing environment for you. So for number 4, after you have done numbers 1 through 3, you just want to allow yourself to be. You know, the question I used to ask myself a lot that was really helpful is, if I was by myself, if nobody was here to look at me, see me, or judge me, what would I do? What would I do if I was by myself? And I noticed that when I'm by myself, I am a lot more relaxed. I do goofy things. I even sing to myself. I talk to myself. I make jokes. I'm actually kind of funny when I'm by myself. And I noticed that a lot of that gets stuffed up and suppressed when I'm around other people, because, you know, it kind of like chokes up inside. So they don't really get to see the awesome aspects of just like my natural how I am. So allow yourself to be around other people. And if you're upset, allow yourself to be upset. You know, for me, it was a really hard thing, but when I became a mom and I had my own business and I just had too many things to think about, I just got to this point where I was like, I can't care anymore, like about trying to make everybody like me or trying to be, you know, this certain person. And you know what? I'm just going to let myself be whatever I'm going to be, and they're probably all going to hate me. And that's literally what I thought. And what I realized was in being myself, I was allowed to be, because I had that supportive group of friends. And I noticed that they also sometimes they were bad days or they were off. And then when you got back to feeling good, everybody was just like back on the same page again. So allow yourself to be. It is scary, but it is liberating, especially when you have an honest, positive, supportive group of friends. Number 5 is just be honest or ask. So for example, if you're just being yourself and today you're having a terrible day and somebody's like, hey, how are you doing? You can say, I want to say I'm good, but I'm really not feeling so good. And what you'll find is people will say, oh my goodness, do you need a hug? Do you need somebody to talk to? And you start reinstilling your faith in humanity, because this compassion comes out. By allowing yourself to be vulnerable, you allow other people to bring compassion and vulnerability to the table too. And that is the most connective and liberating experience that you can have, you know, with other people. So you can also say, and I do this often too, I'll call somebody up, or after, or right as soon as I notice it, I'll say, was that weird? Or was that off? Or did that come out funny? Because I really, you know, was that offensive? I didn't mean to say it that way. You know, here's what I meant. But if I do ask these, I consider it like a confession, you know, like kind of at some churches you go to confession because it like frees you. Well, the truth is, if you just confess most of the time, the truth shall set you free. And it's at least what I've experienced in my own perspective, whether it's with my loving partner or a friend or a new person that I've just met. If I start to feel insecure or start to feel nervous, I come out and just say it. So people love that kind of authenticity and just honesty. Like, there's something really attractive about that, I think, because it's not really always out there. It's kind of a hard thing to find. So if you could just like be that authenticity will override any stupid or like misinterpreted thing that you have said or done. At least in my experience, that's what's worked for me. Lastly, if you do ask and somebody wants to be open and honest, the biggest thing you got to do is understand that this is not a criticism or a definition that is defining you as your being. You are allowing somebody to say, yeah, you know, I was like kind of offended by that, or I didn't like the way you said that because X, Y, and Z. And this is a gift that you can give to them in being understanding. When you're able to bring yourself to that place where you can give that understanding, you're going to receive that equal understanding right back. So stepping up to the plate and being that bigger person, and then taking that constructive feedback and as a way to learn and recalibrate, you know, what your actions and thoughts come out, at least to this person, it just adds more awareness to your skill set or your tool belt or your perspective. And all of it's really helpful. So keep in mind that this is not all going to happen overnight. This is something that you have to constantly practice consistently and just identify every single day. Every single day, it would be helpful to write things that you love and appreciate about yourself, about others. Write things that you want to do just for you, qualities of others that you like and are inspired by and that you respect. Asking yourself which friends add value to your life and why you appreciate them. And then practicing the time to allow yourself to be. Maybe it could just be by yourself at first or with your cat, but if you practice it, then it will come more fluidly as you continue to allow yourself to be. Then be honest, stay open, and constantly reflect and listen and recalibrate. And I can promise you, if you continue down this path, you will find yourself in a place where you can truly let go of what others think of you and feel liberated to just be yourself. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope it was helpful. I know it was a little bit wordy and dense, but I just really wanted to give you guys everything that I felt like had helped me and the steps that I had taken over, oh goodness, it's been like almost a decade, but it is worth going through, and it really takes doing the hard stuff, like being open and honest and removing judgment and refining your friends. I mean, those steps are absolutely necessary. And you're going to find that you are a lovable person. Each and every single one of you has qualities that are amazing and fun and that make you special and unique. And you are also worthy and deserving of feeling that love and expressing that love to yourself, to feel that love for yourself. So I hope this video was really helpful. Thank you guys so much for being equally as open and loving towards everything that we have to share here. And I love the conversations in the comments below. So keep them coming, and let me know you like this video by hitting the thumbs up. I will see you guys next time. Ciao.